Welcome back to the channel, US Rare Coins News, Top 1 Coin Lovers, History Fans, and Treasure Hunters. Today's video is going to be a deep dive into one of the most talked about small coins in American history, a coin that many people have seen, spent, or ignored without realizing what it might truly be worth. We're talking about the United States of America 1-cent wheat penny from 1942 with the Denver Mint mark, the famous 1942 D wheat penny. This humble copper coin carries a powerful story, wartime history, collector passion, and in some cases, astonishing value. Make sure you stay until the very end of this video, because the auction price revealed at the end might completely change how you look at old pennies forever. The wheat penny is one of the most iconic coins ever produced in the United States. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure rather than a symbolic image. By 1942, the wheat penny was already deeply embedded in everyday American life. These coins jingled in pockets, passed through cash registers, and were used by millions of Americans during one of the most intense and important periods in world history. The year 1942 places this coin right in the heart of World War II. The United States had officially entered the war, factories were running around the clock, and the entire nation was focused on supporting the war effort. Copper was a critical material needed for ammunition, wiring, and military equipment. Even though most 1942 pennies were still struck in bronze, the pressure on resources was immense, and the mint was already preparing for changes that would come in 1943 with the famous steel pennies. This makes 1942 one of the last full wartime years of traditional copper wheat cents, adding historical weight to every surviving coin. The Denver Mint, identified by the small d mint mark beneath the date, played a crucial role in supplying coinage to the western United States. Coins from the Denver Mint are often especially appealing to collectors because mintages were sometimes lower than Philadelphia issues, and quality could vary depending on production demands. The 1942 D wheat penny stands out as a key coin from this mint during a critical moment in American history. On the front of the coin, you'll see the familiar and dignified portrait of Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this image is instantly recognizable and deeply symbolic. Lincoln represents unity, strength, and perseverance, qualities that resonated strongly with Americans during wartime. The word liberty appears to the left, while "I in God we trust" arcs above his head. The date 1942 sits to the right, with the Denver Mint mark just below it, small but extremely important to collectors. Turning the coin over, the reverse displays the classic wheat ears design. Two stalks of wheat curve inward along the edges, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum at the top. The wheat symbolizes prosperity, growth, and the agricultural backbone of the nation. This simple yet powerful design is why these coins are affectionately known as wheat pennies and why they remain so beloved today. At first glance, the 1942 D wheat penny may look ordinary. Millions were minted, and many still exist. But value is not just about age or how many were produced. Condition is everything. Most of these coins were heavily circulated during the war years. They were handled constantly, exposed to dirt, moisture, and wear. As a result, truly high-grade examples are extremely difficult to find today. Coins that retain sharp details, original luster, and minimal marks are scarce and highly sought after. Collectors pay especially close attention to uncirculated and near-perfect examples. A 1942 D wheat penny with strong strike details, full wheat lines, and clean surfaces can stand far above the average circulated coin. Color also matters. Original red or red-brown copper surfaces dramatically increase desirability compared to dark or worn brown examples. Another layer of excitement comes from minting errors and varieties. During the rushed wartime production of 1942, mistakes did happen. Some coins show double details, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, or planchet flaws. These errors turn an already collectible coin into a true numismatic prize. Error coins are unique by nature, and serious collectors will pay a premium for them. The 1942 D wheat penny also holds emotional value for many collectors. It represents a time when the nation stood together, when everyday objects like coins were part of a much larger story. Holding one feels like holding a small piece of American resilience and determination, because of this powerful combination of history, design, condition, rarity, and collector demand. The 1942 Wheat penny has earned a respected place in the coin collecting world. While most examples are modestly valued, the finest known specimens are in a completely different category. These are the coins that make headlines, spark bidding wars, and leave collectors speechless. Now comes the part everyone waits for, the value reveal. While typical circulated examples may not bring extraordinary sums, the very best 1942 Wheat pennies, especially those in exceptional mint state condition or with notable minting errors, have reached astonishing results at auction. In top-tier condition, verified and graded by major professional services, a 1942 Wheat penny has achieved auction prices reaching tens of thousands of dollars, with some elite examples selling for over $30,000 at major coin auctions. Let that sink in. A single 1-cent coin, once used to buy candy or newspapers during World War II, has sold at auction for more than many cars. This is why collectors are so passionate, and why checking old coins can sometimes lead to unbelievable discoveries. Top 2. Today's journey takes us to a time just after one of the most important chapters in world history, when the United States was stepping into a new era of peace and rebuilding. Our spotlight is on the United States of America 1-cent wheat penny from 1946. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary old penny, but this coin carries deep historical meaning, collector excitement, and a value that may shock you if you've never looked closely at one before. Make sure you stay with us until the very end, because the auction price we reveal might completely change how you view this humble copper cent. The year 1946 was a turning point for the United States. World War II had officially ended, soldiers were returning home, factories were shifting from wartime production to consumer goods, and the country was filled with hope, relief, and determination. The 1946 wheat penny was born in this powerful moment of transition. It represents not war, but recovery. Not sacrifice, but rebuilding. Every one of these coins carries the quiet optimism of a nation moving forward after years of hardship. The wheat penny design had already been in circulation for decades by 1946, but its symbolism had never been more meaningful. The familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front reflects unity, leadership, and endurance. Lincoln's image had guided Americans through another national crisis many years earlier, and seeing his face on everyday coinage after World War II served as a reminder of strength and resilience. The inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" felt especially significant in a world that had just witnessed immense struggle and loss. Flip the coin over, and the reverse design displays two simple wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. The wheat ears symbolize abundance, growth, and stability, ideas that perfectly matched the national mood of 1946. Americans were planting the seeds of a new future, and this coin quietly reflected that reality as it passed from hand to hand across the country. Unlike some wartime coins, the 1946 wheat penny returned to a more stable copper composition after the steel experiment of 1943 and the transitional alloys that followed. This return to traditional bronze gives the 1946 cent a warm, rich appearance that collectors find especially appealing. When preserved well, these coins can display vibrant original color and strong luster that make them truly stand out. Millions of 1946 wheat pennies were produced, and because of that, many people assume they are not valuable. This is where the real story begins. While large numbers were minted, most of these coins were heavily circulated during the post-war years. They were used daily in stores, vending machines, and pocket change at a time when Americans were spending and rebuilding. As a result, truly high-quality examples are far rarer than most people realize. Condition plays a massive role in the value of a 1946 wheat penny. Coins that are worn, scratched, or darkened from decades of handling are common. But coins that survived with sharp details, minimal marks, and original mint luster are extremely difficult to find today. Collectors carefully examine Lincoln's hair, cheek, and jawline, as well as the wheat lines on the reverse, to judge how well a coin has been preserved. Color is another major factor. A 1946 wheat penny that retains its original red copper color is far more desirable than one that has turned brown over time. Red and red-brown examples are especially prized, as they indicate minimal exposure and excellent storage conditions over many decades. These coins often appear almost frozen in time, as if they were struck yesterday rather than nearly 80 years ago, adding even more intrigue are minting anomalies and subtle varieties. During high-speed production, minor errors occasionally occurred. Some 1946 wheat pennies show die cracks, weak strikes, or slight doubling in the lettering or date. While not all of these dramatically increase value, certain error examples are highly sought after by specialized collectors who are always hunting for something different and rare. What truly elevates the 1946 wheat penny is its historical placement. It is a coin of peace. It marks the first full year after global conflict, when the United States was redefining itself on the world stage. For many collectors, owning this coin is about more than money. It is about holding a tangible reminder of a hopeful moment in American history. Over time, demand for top-quality wheat pennies has continued to grow. New collectors enter the hobby every year, and many begin by building wheat cent collections. As a result, competition for the finest known examples has become intense. Coins that combine historical significance, outstanding condition, and appeal consistently rise to the top when they appear on the auction block. Now we arrive at the moment you've been waiting for. While most 1946 wheat pennies are worth modest amounts, the very finest examples tell a completely different story. In exceptional mint state condition, professionally graded and preserved with full original red color, the 1946 wheat penny has achieved astonishing results at major auctions. At the highest level, a 1946 wheat penny has sold at auction for over $20,000. Yes, a single 1-cent coin from 1946. Once used in everyday transactions during America's post-war recovery, has reached an auction price higher than many people's annual income. That is the power of rarity, condition, and history coming together in one small copper coin. Top 3. Today we're diving into a coin that many people have held in their hands without ever giving it a second thought. It's small, it's copper, and it once bought candy, stamps, and cups of coffee across America. But don't let its humble appearance fool you. Today's focus is the United States of America 1-cent wheat penny from 1953, a coin that carries post-war history, collector fascination, and a value story that might surprise you more than you expect. Make sure you stay with us until the very end, because the auction price revealed there shows just how powerful condition and rarity can be. The year 1953 places this wheat penny in a unique moment in American history. The country was firmly in the post-World War II era, rebuilding, expanding, and entering a time of economic growth and optimism. Families were buying homes, suburbs were growing, and American industry was booming. Coins like the 1953 wheat penny were part of everyday life, quietly moving through this era of change, progress, and confidence in the future. By 1953, the wheat penny design was nearing the end of its long and legendary run. First introduced in 1909, the wheat cent had already served the nation for more than 4 decades. That makes the 1953 issue part of the final chapter of one of the most beloved coin designs in U.S. history. Just a few years later, the wheat ears would be replaced by the Lincoln Memorial, making every late-date wheat penny especially meaningful to collectors today. On the front of the 1953 wheat penny, Abraham Lincoln's portrait remains strong, familiar, and symbolic. Designed by Victor David Brenner, Lincoln's image represents unity, leadership, and perseverance, qualities that continue to resonate deeply in post-war America. The words "I and God we trust" arch above Lincoln's head, while liberty sits boldly to the side, and the date 1953 marks the moment this coin entered circulation. The reverse side showcases the iconic wheat ears that give this coin its popular name. 2 curved stalks frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum at the top. The design is simple, balanced, and timeless. Wheat symbolizes abundance, stability, and growth, a perfect reflection of the hopeful economic climate of the early 1950s. At first glance, the 1953 wheat penny might seem common. Millions were produced, and many still exist today. But in coin collecting, age and mintage numbers only tell part of the story. The real magic lies in condition. Most 1953 wheat pennies were heavily circulated. They jingled in pockets, slid across counters, and spent years exposed to friction, moisture, and handling. As a result, high-quality survivors are far scarcer than people realize. Collectors carefully study the smallest details when evaluating a 1953 wheat penny. They look at Lincoln's hairlines, the sharpness of his jaw and cheek, and the clarity of the lettering. On the reverse, they examine the wheat stalks, checking whether the lines are bold or worn smooth. Even tiny marks or dull surfaces can make a dramatic difference in value. Color plays a huge role as well. Many 1953 wheat pennies have darkened over time, turning brown due to oxidation. Coins that retain their original red or red-brown copper color are significantly more desirable. These coins appear brighter, fresher, and closer to how they looked when they first left the mint. Finding a 1953 wheat penny with strong luster and vibrant color is a challenge, even for experienced collectors. Another exciting aspect of the 1953 wheat penny is the possibility of minting varieties and errors. During the fast-paced production of mid-century coinage, dies wore out, were repunched, or developed small flaws. Some coins show double details in the date or lettering, while others display die cracks or striking anomalies. These subtle differences can turn an ordinary-looking penny into a highly collectible piece. What truly elevates the 1953 wheat penny is its place in American culture. It represents the everyday life of the 1950s, a time remembered for optimism, innovation, and growth. This coin passed through the hands of people who lived through the Great Depression, fought in World War II, and then watched the nation enter a new era of prosperity. Holding one today is like holding a quiet witness to that remarkable transition. As interest in coin collecting continues to grow, wheat pennies remain one of the most popular entry points for new collectors. This steady demand, combined with the limited supply of top-condition examples, has driven competition higher and higher. When an exceptional 1953 wheat penny appears on the market, collectors take notice, and bidding can become intense. Now comes the moment that brings everything together. While most 1953 wheat pennies are worth only modest amounts in circulated condition, the story changes dramatically at the highest levels. Coins that have survived in outstanding mint state condition, with sharp strikes, full detail, and original red color, are in a league of their own. In fact, a 1953 wheat penny in top-tier condition has sold at auction for over $20,000. That's right. A single 1-cent coin, once used in everyday transactions during the booming 1950s, has achieved an auction price that most people would never expect from a penny. This is the power of rarity, preservation, and history combined in one small copper coin. Top 4. Today, we're traveling back to a pivotal moment in American history, just before the world was changed forever. Our focus is on the United States of America 1-cent wheat penny from 1941. This coin may look simple, even ordinary, but behind its modest appearance lies a powerful blend of history, symbolism, collector demand, and surprising worth. Stay with me all the way to the end of this video, because the auction price revealed there might completely change how you look at old pennies. The year 1941 is one of the most significant dates in American history. It was the final year before the United States entered World War II. Tensions were rising across the globe, uncertainty was in the air, and yet everyday life continued for millions of Americans. Coins like the 1941 wheat penny were part of that daily routine. They passed through grocery stores, movie theaters, diners, and gas stations, quietly witnessing a nation on the edge of monumental change. By 1941, the wheat penny had already become a familiar symbol of American currency. Introduced in 1909, it had been in circulation for more than 3 decades. The design was trusted, respected, and instantly recognizable. The 1941 issue represents the last moment of calm before wartime demands would reshape materials, production priorities, and even the composition of future pennies. On the front of the 1941 wheat penny, the portrait of Abraham Lincoln stands with calm strength. Designed by Victor David Brenner, Lincoln's image reflects leadership, unity, and moral resolve. These qualities would soon become even more meaningful as the nation prepared for war. The words "In God We Trust" appear boldly above Lincoln's head, while liberty rests to the side, and the date 1941 marks a moment frozen just before history turned a page. turning the coin over reveals the iconic wheat ears that give the coin its popular name. Two stalks curve inward, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum above. The wheat design symbolizes abundance, stability, and the agricultural foundation of the nation. In 1941, this imagery reflected hope and self-reliance, values that would soon be tested on a global scale. At a glance, many people assume the 1941 wheat penny is common and therefore not valuable. Millions were minted, and examples still turn up in collections and old jars. But in the world of coin collecting, mintage numbers don't tell the whole story. The true value lies in survival, condition, and demand. Most 1941 wheat pennies were heavily circulated during the early 1940s, and many continued to be used for decades afterward. Because of this heavy use, high-quality examples are far more scarce than people realize. Collectors carefully examine every detail. They look at Lincoln's hair, cheek, and coat for sharpness. They study the lettering for clarity and strength. On the reverse, they inspect the wheat stalks, checking whether the fine lines are still visible or worn smooth by time. Color is another critical factor. A large number of 1941 wheat pennies have darkened into brown tones due to oxidation and handling. Coins that retain their original red or red-brown copper color are significantly more desirable. These coins often show a soft glow and original mint luster that instantly sets them apart from average examples. Adding to the excitement are minting variations and errors. During large-scale production, dies could wear out, crack, or be misaligned. Some 1941 wheat pennies display doubling in the lettering or date, while others show die cracks or striking anomalies. These unique characteristics transform an ordinary penny into a collector's prize and can dramatically increase its appeal. What makes the 1941 wheat penny especially fascinating is its historical position. It is a pre-war coin from a world that was about to change forever. Just months after many of these coins entered circulation, the United States would be drawn into World War II. That makes the 1941 wheat penny a symbol of the last breath of normalcy before sacrifice, rationing, and wartime production took hold. Collectors are drawn to coins that tell stories, and the 1941 wheat penny tells a powerful one. It connects the Great Depression era to the wartime years, bridging two defining chapters of American history. As interest in historical coinage continues to grow, demand for well-preserved wheat pennies has steadily increased. When a truly exceptional 1941 wheat penny appears, collectors take notice. Competition becomes intense, especially for coins that combine outstanding condition, strong eye appeal, and professional grading. These coins are no longer just spare change, they are historical artifacts preserved in metal. Now we come to the part that surprises nearly everyone. While most circulated 1941 wheat pennies are worth modest amounts, the finest known examples tell a very different story. In top-level mint state condition, with sharp strikes, full detail, and original red copper surfaces, the 1941 wheat penny has reached remarkable heights at major auctions. A 1941 wheat penny in exceptional condition has sold for more than $20,000. Yes, a single 1-cent coin, once used in everyday transactions on the eve of World War II, has achieved an auction price that many people would never imagine. That's the power of history, rarity, and preservation coming together in one small coin.